going. Okay.
All right, episode 1. We're finally doing it.
After lots of discussions about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to like grow this wall and took
Hey,
time.
I think it came together, you know.
I was thinking we should have Celeste do the background wall next time. She did a huge mural, my sister,
Oh, really?
in the coffee shop.
Oh, that's right.
the artwork.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
We're jumping ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Where do we even begin?
Um,
Well, hi, Rachel.
hey, Cal. Yeah, Rachel and Cal. Cal and Rachel.
So I've had this idea for a long time, just like personally, not that I think my life was like that interesting to give,
The great Cal Neff, you guys.
but it's like, and then obviously you join in the mix here, the combo of our lives together.
It's been not that long in retrospect, but it's been a journey.
Yeah, and I think there's just so many aspects of our life, and we get the feedback, or at least you do at work, because I'm like not in normal space anymore. But you're in the
my
corporate
gosh,
job,
yeah.
and people literally can't wait to hear what happens next in your life
I have,
when you come in.
yeah, people asking me about my personal life all the time at work because I live just a unique life compared to your average corporate person because I have a real job, out of the two of us.
A normal, real
Right.
job.
And the things that we go through on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis are just not the average.
No.
And I think that's what makes it beautiful, though.
Yeah, I was like trying to think how to describe that too, and it was like, like when I'm checking the weather in the evening, it's like I'm checking it because it could potentially kill me.
Yeah.
Most people are checking, is it gonna
Now
fuck
I'm
up
gonna
my
worry every time
work?
you check the weather.
No, but like people check the weather because it's gonna make their what are they gonna wear and how bad is their drive gonna be?
Oh,
right?
yeah. What's
But
the traffic gonna be like? Yeah.
We have a very cool aviation aspect to our lives that's growing, that I've had my whole life. Obviously, running is a huge part of our lives.
Right.
And to kind of combine both of those, because I've made it my business too, we've moved to an airport. We live at an airport.
We did. We moved to an airport. What?
We are actually in an aircraft hangar right now.
That's right. We're filming in what we call our bonus room.
Right. It's
But
an old aircraft hangar.
what we didn't know when we first bought this house, and we didn't learn until the prior owner dropped off the plans, her survey of the house months later, is that, this was the original aircraft hangar. And the door was over there. They can't see it.
It would
but
literally be a plane parked right
Right,
here.
and
The
so
tail
we
would be
looked
right
closer, and the wheels are still hanging out outside of what used to be the door.
The door, yeah. The whole wall just raises up. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
that is just a mere glimpse into why we're doing this. I mean, we can try to rehash last year to get a little bit better intro to us.
Well, yeah,
and-
maybe we start with, who are we?
Yeah.
As a couple, as individuals, and then we go from there.
Yeah, because the whole other thing we didn't touch on yet is, and a big aspect of what we wanted to do, was our relationship and giving a little bit of a look into that, because we are a blended family.
Yeah.
I bring 3 girls, you bring 1 girl to the table
Right.
in this, and
4 girls, in case no one heard that. That's a lot.
that could be its own reality show in itself, but how we navigate our relationship and what we do to work on that, I think has been it's been great for us, like the things that we've done together.
The things we've
'Cause
done
it's not
together is
easy.
great. It's not easy. I mean, there are times where, it's not easy. That's all I can say. But I think we have so much to talk about. So let's talk about.
All right, let's dive in.
Yeah. You go first, because I think your history with your personal life and your podcast and your growth go far beyond mine.
I mean,
like running
everybody has a story,
right?
right?
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, running for sure. I started running when I was 4, and it was before you were even born.
I mean, you can't even walk well at 4, so that blows my mind. But sure.
I was running before you were born.
You were, yes. Yeah, we don't have to go there, but yes.
Hey, so yeah, I started running in 1988 because my family was active. Like we were going to fun runs. My dad was doing the Houston Marathon, in the 80s. I've been to Houston as a kid to watch. So, and it's cool it's coming up this Sunday, and it's something that I wanted to bring up as well. But yeah, obviously grew up in an active family, and running was something that came easy to me. So it's just, it's never been like a punishment, a chore. I mean, there's times like, especially through high school track, where it's like, I don't want to go to track, but the parents
That's a normal
pushed,
kid
yeah,
thing,
exactly.
right?
Teenager
Anybody does that.
wanted to skateboard more than I wanted to well, now it's like I want to fly more than I want to run sometimes.
Oh my gosh. I'll be like, can you do the dishes? And you're out flying your glider in the backyard for an hour.
I'm training.
Okay, sure.
Safety.
Right. Making sure you're well practiced.
Exactly. That's a whole other episode.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but so I grew up around running, and I also grew up around my dad hang gliding, which is big contention point in my family, and follows me as well as I dive into my own aviation.
Yeah.
And definitely navigating that is difficult.
That's been confusing for me too, though.
You're like, what do I not know about this? That's so bad.
Right, exactly. There's so many strong opinions that I haven't even formulated my own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have these pressures of strong opinions around me that it's hard to figure out, how do I actually feel about this? How do I support you as your wife? And where do we go with that?
Yeah. And so to clarify, I fly hang gliders and paragliders right now. I'm rated in both. I'm trying to stay current and regular. And
in Houston.
Yeah, which is difficult depending on where you live.
Right.
And so, and there's risk that comes with that. Right. But that's to be explored more together. And what else did I go about? Yeah, I grew up very fortunately moving around the world. So I think, the last tally I had was, I think, well into the 30s of homes that I've lived in.
That's insane.
And,
I mean, you've been to my family home multiple times now, and I've been there since 7th grade. Right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I can remember 3 other homes before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done more countries than that.
Right.
So Scotland, Louisiana, its own country.
I mean, Alabama is its own country, one
sure.
may say.
England, Thailand, Canada, a number of times. Australia, Canada, Arkansas.
Did you ever live in Houston? I don't know if I've ever asked that.
Well, I went to University of Houston.
Well, no,
I finished
but prior
college there.
to.
Well, my
as a
family
child.
moved to Houston the same time I went to Arkansas for school.
Okay.
So it was kind of like they left Canada, we all left Canada, and I went to Arkansas for school. So the Woodlands, Houston was a base for a while for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of moving, a lot of countries, a lot of running, a ton of running. I went to a boarding school in Australia, which was a crazy experience.
I've seen the or is that the one with the crazy pictures? Where you guys were in the mountains over the weekend? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even the weekend. Our structure of our school was leaving Wednesday for hikes that would go all the way through Friday. And our curriculum was Saturday and Sunday we'd have actual classes. Because you're in a bubble, you're in this utopia bubble of you can teach however you want. So it was a working farm in the mountains of Australia. So
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So that was a cool upbringing, and it's definitely shaped who I am. I feel like I've been the same person. I feel like I'm very grounded in who I am and my values, and certainly probably a newer part of that is how do those values align with Christianity and finding that.
Yeah, kind of
the last few
being
years.
with you along that journey has been interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you make a good point about values, is that you've had all of these experiences and somehow you've managed to stay grounded. I know so many people that stay in the same place their entire life and are so fluid with who they are.
Yeah.
So I really, really love that about you.
I did during COVID, I did like a kind of exploring self class. It was with Michael Gervais, who's a doctor. I actually went all the way to New York just to see his live podcast with my sister. One of my favorite podcasts ever to listen to, Finding Mastery. And he has a whole class on like finding mastery. And it's, it's the typical, like, make sure you're sleeping and your diet's good and you exercise and like self-care is hugely important, but it like came down to like, who are you? And like, if you're cornered in an alley, are you able to like say like, I am this? And like what I came up with was like I'm just a rock. Okay. And like I will weather everything. I will weather all storms. I will still be there. That's kind of like who I thought like I
can
could
agree with that. Yeah.
I might be getting a little mossy now, but I'm still there.
A little bit. Yeah. Moss is good. Moss is good.
I guess a huge other thing that I've brought back into my life as well as the flying has been search and rescue, which I just had an awesome weekend, like bonding with a new team there with Texas Search and Rescue. So that's another huge aspect of our lives. It's like,
it's been very interesting to see you go through that search and rescue journey. I was on a run with some coworkers today at lunch, and we were talking about, jumping ahead a little bit, but body part donations with your search and rescue.
I need them for the dogs.
It's just, let's give our kids' teeth to the search and rescue team to train the dogs.
But like out of all those things, like I just love like training. I love technical. I love learning. I love like hands-on. I love helping people as a coach. I love helping as a volunteer search and rescue. So like, and like, going all the way back to that boarding school, it's like, I'm pretty much getting to live like that life. I feel like we're in this weird utopia of our neighborhood is another huge thing we want to talk about on this safely. If we have to be careful about names. It's like, if I talk about athletes, that's very close personal connections. Our neighborhood, which could be its own TV series.
I mean, honestly, I think that there should be a TV series that follows airport communities and like certain families within them, and just the broader picture. It would be a bestseller. Like Real Housewives for airport communities.
Real Airwives.
Real Airwives.
So we're gonna get way more into the details here. I know we're kind of skimming just the surface just to get the intros off, but like this is some stuff that you get to look into forward to.
My story's been very different from yours. I mean, I grew up in Alabama,
which I love to make fun of.
I'm constantly getting things that you send me making fun of Alabama, like marrying cousins and all these things, which is not real.
But like, okay, if their cousins were married and they got divorced, would they still be cousins though, right?
Yes, like you can't erase your family.
Just messing. I think that's on the Arkansas bar exam for lawyers.
Really?
Is like.
That's so dumb. Anyway. I grew up in Alabama, and I didn't grow up as an athlete or anything.
And you are an athlete.
So that's an interesting topic. You can say I'm an athlete, but
you've been training harder than I have in some aspects.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I was a nerd. I went to my same friend's house every weekend, and I was in an officer and technology student association, and I sang in choir and did all the extracurricular choir stuff, and I played my guitar and piano, and that's it. And as a kid, I did karate, and then some tragic stuff happened.
Yeah, you have a crazy story there too.
Yeah, so my karate teacher was shot point blank by a parent for pushing her son too hard. And
this wasn't even like in the 2000s.
Right.
Or,
no,
it
it was.
No,
But I mean, early 2000s. And
where people weren't as sensitive.
yeah, less sensitive.
Like you go to
sure.
karate to get
Right, and now the sensitivity is, off the charts. But then went to college in Alabama and got into IT, and I had 3 jobs. I was kind of a loser. I had my friends and it was great, but
build robots,
I built robots.
hacking competitions.
Yeah, that's what I did. And after I graduated college, my friend let out of the bag that I had 3 jobs, not 2 jobs, to my mom. And I lied to her the whole time because I just thought that she would get mad at me for having 3 jobs. And she told me, out of all the things to lie about, that's what you choose.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't until, I started working in IT that I started getting athletic. And I really just started lifting and rock climbing. And I decided one day, I should do some cardio. I'm going to sign up for a half marathon, and I'm way too proud to not train.
Well, and then you went off the deep end.
Right. Well, then I'm like, I think there's always been a sense of how far can I push myself, whether that's mentally, mostly mentally is what it had been. And this is kind of that first dab into that physical push. Yeah. And that was only, 7 years ago.
Yeah. And then since you went half, full,
50 I did a half, full, 50.
Then 100.
Then 100. Yeah.
Further than I've ever run in one go.
Yeah. So that's where we are. Now we're here.
Yeah. All right.
We thought I was going to be the awkward one.
Yeah. Well, so for the record, I was still a nerd. I was on the cross country team. So those are the least liked people in all of school. And I played the oboe at one point.
The oboe is the best part. I didn't even the cross country team at my school, it was just multi-sport people.
Right.
It wasn't really true runners.
Well, in Canada, we didn't even have a high school team, really. They didn't have sports. America's insane. Australia's the best setup I've seen, but US is insane when it comes to sport. And then obviously,
especially I feel like football for boys, baseball, and girls. It's a little less for girls, I think. People always make jokes about women's basketball, and it's less pressure for girls unless you kind of have that amazing team or school that you're at, which I didn't have, so I didn't really see much of that.
Yeah. Whereas my family moved down here, and my brother was at the Woodlands High School, which is was the number one. Still pretty much is for cross country. So
yeah,
they were running 100-mile weeks as high schoolers, and I'd be down the road at UH, not running anywhere near that amount.
My school was not like that. We had a girl on the swim team, and she was just the only swimmer in the school, and they claimed her as her being on the swim team.
Yeah.
And that was it. She didn't even swim at the school.
They're like that little African country that sends a swimmer to the Olympics.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They can't even swim.
Yeah, exactly. This girl was good, actually, but yeah.
All right. What else do we have on tap to talk about? We did hash out some outlines to talk about. I'll let you kind of guide us through that.
Let's see who we are. Then we're going to wrap up 24. So in 24...
Yeah, okay, go.
Yeah, it's kind of still of our background. We got married just this year, right?
Well, we were supposed to be married 2 weeks ago. No, 4 now, I guess. It's January.
About a month ago.
About a month ago.
Yeah.
Here. But...
Well, we were traveling over the summer. And
found ourselves in the most...
Lake Tahoe is our most favorite place.
Yeah.
And
my old coach was there, just really close friend.
You needed health insurance.
Small business owners.
And we were this place is amazing. Before we get into Broken Arrow, Western States, let's get married. So we planned a wedding.
Overnight.
In about 36 hours.
Yeah.
We were trying to give it another day, but the officiant was going to the rodeo, so we had to pull it up. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, so we got married on the trail
Yeah.
of Lake Tahoe, the Rim Trail.
We made him hike almost a half mile up the trail at elevation.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
And then we
fun.
got a whole story of his ex-military raids.
Yeah. I wore the dress
And my coach's wife.
of your coach's wife from her first marriage.
Yeah.
And then I ripped it. And your coach was kind of pleased about it.
For sure.
I ripped it, climbing a rock or something for a photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing. It was one of the most perfect
try to
days.
Pop up a photo there of that.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can bring one up. But yeah, that was in June.
Oh, test time.
Oh, I walked into this one. June 18th.
What?
Wait, no, 17th.
No.
Wait.
Wrong direction.
Oh, 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, you talk while I bring up a photo.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were in Tahoe. So then, we just got engaged in March too. But I feel like that's a funny story because actually I was just talking about this today because I have a coworker proposing this weekend at Chevron Houston.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, he's going to propose after he finishes his marathon. I was like, are you going to be able to get
Is that a good idea?
on one
I
knee?
remember that one person got absolutely roasted for proposing at the finish.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what it's doing. So I'm happy for him. I don't care, but some people may have opinions about it. Anyway,
I think it was just like it steals the glory of the person finishing their marathon. Like that's why they're there. Wait, is it only he's running the marathon?
he's running it. She's
And
not running it.
Oh, okay.
He's running
All right.
it, and he's
That's
proposing.
fine.
He said she thinks this weekend's about me, but I'm making it about her.
Got it. Okay. All
So
right.
I feel like that's fine.
I hope she shows up. It's gonna be really cold.
Yeah. But I told him that the best part of our proposal story was that you were on one knee in the middle of what you said. I totally blacked out, if I'm being honest, don't know what you said. And all of a sudden, Maya, his youngest, is missing. And she's in the back blowing snot rockets. And she's just like, I'm sorry, I have really big boogers. And Holly's mad. She's like, you're ruining it.
Ruining the moment.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I think the beauty of our wedding is that also within that 36-hour wedding planning time frame, we also decided to
I think we're
buy our
live there.
house.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's our wedding picture
Nice.
up now. If we're on the right screen, I can't tell right now, but yeah, right up on the rim trail, looking down on Lake Tahoe is perfect.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
And it was not too unsimilar to the engagement where we were in Big Bear.
That's true. We were in the mountains.
In the mountains with all
Yeah.
the kids that time.
Yeah. It was snowing up there. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't snowing.
We went
but there was snow
sledding,
up there.
and
Yeah.
wasn't that Charlotte's like real first snow?
That was
too?
Charlotte's first snow. That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, we have the oldest. Allie's 12.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be 13 this. Oh my gosh, she'll be official teenager in August. Shares a birthday with me.
Yeah.
And then Holly's 9, coming up
She's gonna be 10
really soon
really
to 10.
soon. Yeah.
Next month. And then Maya's 7, coming up on 8 really soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then Charlotte's coming up on 4 in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, I kind of derailed you there.
No, you're
You're
fine.
going-
Then we bought our house in
Yeah.
June.
Well, remember we were on that trip and it was kind of like we really wanted this house and we left it, right? Like we couldn't sell your house and like
Well, that's
couldn't
the
get-
most amazing thing is that we decided to go ahead and put an offer on this house and just rent my house. It had been
Yeah.
a month and my house wasn't selling, and there were so many like my house
Yeah.
within a quarter-mile radius.
Yeah.
It wasn't selling, and we kept dropping the price, and it is what it is. We'll just rent it. This is our dream house. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And I think that there are a handful of times where I feel like God has intervened in my life. And this was one of those because like at that same time, we get this last minute offer for
Yeah,
someone
like
to
a
buy
Hail
our house.
Mary.
Right. And we had like 8 rental applications come in.
Which we're going to be like taking a loss,
Right.
even renting.
Right.
Yeah, like monthly.
Yeah, it was a couple $100 loss monthly.
I mean, you get the investment, but remember, there was one point where we we weren't going to get this at all.
Yeah.
We lost it. It was back on the market, and then I was just like, look, let's just rerun the numbers one more time. You know,
we were sitting there planning
we have a
warehouse.
Yeah. We have my condo.
Well, let's talk about that. So this house, the beauty of it.
Yeah, the whole real like the drive was to combine a lot of expenses so that we're not like giving it away to rent.
Well, we were
commercial
still living
property.
separately at the time
exactly.
too.
So like I had rent and I had commercial property rent.
Right.
For a warehouse.
And I had my mortgage.
So yeah, what I do for work is I put on trail racing over Texas. It's a huge part of our life now. We both are like fully into it, as like you were in college working all these jobs and
still working all these jobs.
Yeah. You're like kind of encroaching on my coaching a little bit.
You know.
Trail racing over Texas needed a home, and it was just like if we ran the numbers, it was like if we get rid of the warehouse, get rid of the condo, get rid of your house, and combine it all into one, we can afford this.
We still come
place.
out on top in this scenario.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah. Well, and like...
Because there's we're in the old hangar right now. There is another hangar that was built.
Yeah, there is a hangar,
and so that is now what is the Trail Racing Over Texas warehouse.
Yeah. And future home of a plane.
And a future home of a plane,
Somehow.
which I am on board with now. I know. I told my boss today that we're plane shopping, so it's like for real.
Well, we're not quite there yet. I mean, we got a lot of steps to go.
Right.
I mean, we need a new hangar door.
We need a new
so let's get to the
door.
house. Okay. So we financially could make this happen. But I'd say just extremely lucky.
We were about to accept a rental application.
Yeah. But I mean, just in general, and finding this place. Like, there's only 49 homes on a 3,000-foot grass airstrip here.
There's 49 lots, not 49 homes.
Yeah, 49 lots. How long does it take you to get to work? I mean, to Memorial Park on a Saturday. It's like...
So this morning, I left at around 6, and there was no traffic, and it took me 45-ish minutes to get to work.
To the heart of downtown.
To the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
And
so
I
we're
will
under
say
an hour.
That is not normal.
No, it's not normal.
Right? Usually it takes me an hour and 15, hour and a half to get to work.
But it's crazy that we're in a city of, I don't even know, 6 to 8 million people.
Less than 40 miles from downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we live at an airport, and we have this property with a hangar warehouse and this bonus room and
the community
home. And the community,
here is amazing.
I know we pay to live here, but I would pay to live here because it's like so
cool. Well, I just
cool.
said the other week that if we won the lottery, I thought about where would I move to in Houston, and I can't think of a thing. Not a single neighborhood. And I used to say, oh, maybe I'd live in Memorial or this or that. But no, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, we'd fix a lot up. So
it would be the house. So
unfortunately, we closed at the end of July on this amazing property to a phone call of the owner that technically should have been left already, like the morning of this sale. Like she was kind of final move out. Like
the morning we were supposed to move in.
Yeah, like keys are handed over, and it's like the toilets are going backwards. Like
I'm gonna call a plumber.
I'm calling a plumber, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Like this never happens. Well, like fast forward, I'm digging in the front yard, finding ports to our septic, which we're on, to find that it's just a barrier of wooden roots that you just there's no getting through.
Right.
And I was there with...
Well, the septic people came that day later.
Oh, they're just going to pump it. That's all you need to do is just pump it.
Yeah.
And it was like their tubes that they put in there.
They couldn't fit in it.
No.
Yeah.
They just hitting rock basically of this barrier. And I was trying to power wash through it and cut it, and I was just getting back. Like day one, I was just taking
covered
shit to the face, full force. And
when I describe our septic journey with people, because this is a 2-month journey, and I say this because there were a few times where we thought it would be okay.
Yeah.
And it would back up into the house again, sewage.
Yeah.
And I'd go and twist the valve, and it's a shit volcano.
Like pressurized. And that's all it had been doing, but it just was so light for so many years that nobody knew there was an issue.
Yeah.
And out of like really good faith, that owner,
Well, we were
previous
trying
owner
to figure
stepped
out
up
what to do.
to replace it.
Do we replace those 2 tanks and get a new pump,
Yeah.
which is about $5,000? Or do we replace the whole system?
Yeah. Well, you
And-
can't even really do option 1. Like, so we've learned a
Right.
whole lot about owning a home that's on a well, on septic. It's all been part of this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned way more than I need to know about plumbing. But like I dove into that.
The sump pump under the house.
Oh,
and,
yeah. But like,
Yeah.
imagine, I mean, there's people that couldn't live here.
Oh, absolutely.
That if you're just not,
And honestly, you have to have a stomach to live here too.
yeah, for sure.
We find like bizarre things.
But you just have to like be a MacGyver of like handyman, like figuring stuff out. Like there was things that I was telling the septic people, like I made my own, out of one of these cans, it was a Red Bull one.
Oh, that's right.
I made my own shit cam and ran it through the tubing
Yeah.
and showed them a video. I'm like, this is what's wrong here and here, like on the new build too.
Yeah.
And they were like, wow, like what are you, an engineer?
So back
Like,
it
no.
up. A few days later, well, we have to delay our moving, right?
Yeah, so we
Because-
went through this 2-month shitstorm. Literal
Right. So
shitstorm.
we got a lease back on our home or extended it last minute. And then we find out, oh, we can't live here.
Yeah.
We'll have no plumbing because we need an entire new septic.
Yeah.
And we were very blessed because we were so overwhelmed during this time
Yeah.
that we were in Lowe's getting more. I mean, I think every day for a month we were
It was
spending
like a $500 Lowe's trip.
every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
It was like
Yes.
$500, $500, $500.
Yeah.
And then like moving trash out, $500, $500.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like-
it was insane.
Yeah.
And so we lived with your mom in her very small house for 2 months while we got a new septic. But we were in one of our many trips to Lowe's, and I get a call from Lucy, the prior owner,
Mm-hmm.
and she calls and says that it's the right thing to do, that she's going to pay for the septic.
Yeah.
And we start bawling,
Crying in Lowe's.
crying and hugging in the middle of Lowe's, like another God moment.
For
Truly.
sure. Yeah, because I was literally in the parking lot complaining about people.
Yeah.
How previous business people we've had dealings with, how previous friends, how previous property owners have
Yeah,
just like not been good for their word.
Yeah.
You know, like just say one thing, do another, or backstab you, treat you this way,
Right.
whatever it might be. I was literally like cursing the world for not being,
And then we have this
Yeah.
woman who does not know us
no, and didn't have to.
and didn't owe us anything. Yeah, do that for us. And that was really
Yeah.
touching.
Yeah. So those are the
So-
moments that are like, yeah, here's a new toilet. There is a God.
I've never been so grateful
Yeah.
to take a
But I mean,
shit
it
in
wasn't.
my life.
It literally wasn't about the amount of savings that we had. Like we would
No,
figure it away.
we would have
it
figured
was
it out.
literally about like
Doing the
people.
right thing.
Yeah, doing the right thing.
Yeah. We had
Yeah.
been surrounded by people not doing
Being
the right
awful.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm not going to lie, that was the hardest 2 months.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we literally just got married, and that was our intro
Just
to
got
each other.
married. Yeah. And we had,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
like dated and
dated and
engaged and
spent, you know, kids in each
Yeah.
other's spaces, but it was just,
yeah.
we were very disconnected then. That's for sure.
Oh geez.
I kind of feel like I truly look back on that moment and say, if we can get through that period, we can get through anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe at the end of the day, it's like better to start that way. Not that I would ever recommend
Yeah, just jump off a cliff first,
Yeah,
and then the rest
exactly.
will be easy.
it. Try to live off the grid
Yeah,
with
covered in shit.
or with your mother-in-law.
You know what though? Your mom, as small as that space was, and I was starting school.
Oh, we had a
and
puppy.
We got a puppy.
Yeah, Billy Baldwin. the
Well,
Frenchie.
no, we didn't have him
No,
yet.
but I mean, he was like 6
Oh
months.
no,
ago.
we did.
Yeah.
We did have him. Yeah, we had the puppy and all the. It was rough, but your mom was really great.
Dad joke.
Yeah. God. Yeah, your mom was really great through it. So.
Yeah, so that was like just getting into the house. But now it's been amazing because like, okay, here's like a day in the life week, like kind of dream week, weather's good, like with the community. We dove in, we wanted to help. They have a fly-in in October. So we ended up, because we put on events for a living, organizing an air show. So like add that to the resume. We've put on an air show, food trucks, porta potties, shirts, awards, like the whole thing set up, brand new to the community, and we're diving in other ways and doing the Christmas crawl, and there's all these like get-togethers. We have a clubhouse.
And every first Friday there's a
potluck.
A potluck, and we've gone to most of them so far since we've been here. And
like other than like a couple people, you are by far the youngest person, and the girls are very.
There's not many kids.
There's two other boys, and that's it, really.
No, I mean there's that 9-year-old by the clubhouse.
So there's very few kids here, but everybody, and I'd love to have each and every one of them on this podcast eventually, because their stories are so crazy, just as pilots, but as airwives, as people who've lived here and seen so much.
Airwives, that's the reality show.
For sure. Yeah. But so like New Year's, here's a perfect example. New Year's Eve, it's beautiful out. I mean, it's like warm Houston, Texas summer.
Oh yeah, we go for a bike ride.
Hop on the bikes. Let's see who has a hangar door open or whatever. And we didn't make it. I mean, we went over the runway, down 2 houses.
2 houses,
we passed and went over 1. So 3 houses. And within 10 minutes, we're in a Cessna flying down to the Gulf.
An hour of flight time.
You sat right seat, got some airtime flying
there, and you flew back.
And flew back with another couple.
Yeah.
And I flew back right at sunset, and then we had to go red light on and went to instruments. So that was a new experience for me.
Yeah.
Sitting in a small plane going IFR, and then like that was watching fireworks while having Christmas lights.
That's amazing.
And so that's like pretty typical. If someone's going up, like you can kind of wander around and find a ride.
Oh my gosh. We hear a plane and you're like, who is it?
I can tell now. I'm like,
oh, that's Rob.
That's Rob. Yeah. That's Jeff. That's Alan. That's Mauricio.
Jeff has even said,
Marcelo.
Hey, if I'm riding by and you throw a thumb.
Yeah, like literally you can see a window right here.
Yeah.
A cub or a steerman.
He'll stop.
Or whatever will go right by and hop in.
It's been great.
And now the girls have gotten to fly multiple times, Holly and Maya, which they love it too. So typical weekend, there's just people doing laps and practicing and taking grandkids. And
the air, I mean, the girls, since we've been here, we don't see them when they're here over the weekend, and the weather's nice.
The best way I describe that is like, it's like the good old days, even though it's
like back when we were younger.
Yeah.
I was told, come home when the streetlights come on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is truly the closest that we're getting to that.
Yeah, they go out the back to a ravine and they're under spark tollway. Playing
in the tunnel on the beach.
On the beach, yeah. But they all stick together and can see them.
Yeah, walkie-talkies.
Yeah. And I'll usually have my paraglider. So like there's the airport, but then we live on this like reservoir ridge, which when the wind is right is just so perfect.
You are convinced you're going to get off that one day.
Yeah, I mean, I had actually a pretty half decent like soaring flight where I kind of stayed up. It's sketchy for sure. I call it like a backwards hill. It's actually because it goes down into a lake. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon. It's like a giant mountain, but it goes down. It's not ideal for flying at all, but I'm trying to make it work.
I mean,
but ground handling for paragliding is key. It's like such a huge component of staying like current on your wing.
Well, the girls have gotten into it too.
Well, and they get to play with it and just keep it safe get to expose them to that. Just like I was exposed. It's like, such a unique way to grow up.
No,
and the communities of all of that, whether we're in running or in the flying or in even the hang gliding, paragliding is kind of like the those niches of ultra running or track or whatever. Like they all have these like spin-off kind of communities that are very different personality types.
Right.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's 24.
Wow. All right, what are we at here? We don't have a rolling clock on this, so I can't tell. How long have we been here?
It's on the bottom now.
40 minutes. All right, we're not too bad.
Okay.
I thought this would be like 3 hours. I was like, Joe Rogan ain't got nothing on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think we wanted to talk about 25 a bit, but then we
Yeah.
wanted to get into, Houston's coming up, some of the news around that, or what's been happening in the running community.
What we're doing,
and then the flying too. So maybe we talk about flying first, because one thing that, we're here now, we mentioned that we want to get a plane.
Yeah.
And now we're going to
also out of a cost savings thing. It's not like, it's a huge dream.
Well,
to
yeah,
get a
but
plane.
basically, plane aside, we want to get our private pilot's license, both of us.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that is like, it's very expensive.
Right. But it's expensive also, not only for just, course time, but you have to rent the plane and you have to pay for the fuel and instructors. And we are kind of in the beauty of, we know a handful of instructors here.
Yeah, like very qualified
Where if
people.
we took all of that rental money and invested in a plane, then we'd actually come out on top.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
And there's another couple that's also moving to the community that's in the same place as us right now. So it's like, you could potentially have a share plane or something like that. So don't know where it's going to go yet, but I think as much as we all want the cool classic Cub, bush plane style.
So that's you. I don't want that. I want more
Cessna
of a
172 is like kind of the perfect place to start. It's kind of like where we're leaning, but then there's these newer planes that are coming out. The crazy thing about airplanes is, and like, it's funny, like, so talking about family and like this, like, perception of flying and feelings around flying.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'd much rather you in an aircraft. But then you tell them like, oh yeah, what were we up? We were in like a 1942 this, or like a 1939 this. And like,
is that much better to them?
Oh, we should buy a 1950s this. And it's like, it's crazy that there's this blackout period of planes were not being built.
Really? Like, we don't see any 80s
shopping.
or 90s planes. Most of our neighborhood are 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And we have some older relics out there, but the majority of what's being flown are 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And I think there might be only one or two in the 2000s in our entire neighborhood. Last time I looked at the tail numbers.
What was the one we went up for New Year's Eve? That was one of the newest. That was the 70s. And that was rare.
It was amazing condition.
Well, of course, it's like brand new compared to everything else we've been flying in.
Yeah.
So like, you really have to like reset, your thinking on.
I did. I was on a website last week and built my own plane. I don't remember the brand. Yes, I didn't tell you this. And it was like, I was just, checking out whatever. And I built this most beautiful, like, lavender color plane. Very Rachel. Yeah.
It's the color of our dog, lavender.
That's true. Lilac.
Lilac, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Like a new plane?
Yeah, it was a new one. So, I mean, that would have been like
a new what? A Cessna?
I don't know. It wasn't a Cessna. I don't remember.
So the one I've been following because of a
was.
YouTuber that we've started, a couple, they're flying these Sling aircrafts out of South Africa, which look incredible. They have a huge, like, help to build kind of like airport station and learn to fly in California. But so like those are like new Cessnas basically with all the updated avionics and engines and everything.
So I was thinking about my 2025 goals as we entered the new year. And I said I wanted to finish ground school and get student rating and all of my medical stuff cleared out of the way by the end of H1.
Okay.
I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah.
We have a lot of time left.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a little careful in, like, from what I'm hearing talking to pilots and stuff is like, and the instructors is like, if you do your written test, it's like on a timeline. I don't know whether it's like 6 or 12 months. You have to finish your check ride.
But I'm not saying we have to do the written test fully yet. I just want to finish.
And then you're also going to get a lot of those questions like during your final.
No, that's fine.
So you just have to be
But
currency
I
is like
want to
huge.
just get through the ground school knowledge piece first.
Yeah. And
Is
there's
what
lots
I'm
of
saying.
online
I'm not
options for
saying we
that.
have to finish the test. I'm saying
Yeah, okay.
I want to finish that learning and studying piece.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's totally doable.
Yeah.
Even though you're getting your MBA right now and your new classes of the
Taking
semester.
2 classes this semester that started today, so I should probably get on that. But one of them I feel like will be fine. I mean, I'm in IT. That's my job.
Yeah, we haven't gone there really.
Yeah, we haven't
You do
even
have a
gotten there.
full-time
Yeah, I have a full-time real job, corporate job
and
in
leadership.
IT.
Yeah.
And
IT. I don't know why that just
every time I say that,
dumbs
you
it
roll your
down.
eyes.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're like doing help desk for people's like, oh my, I couldn't plug my.
you know what? Shout out to our help desk though. They're
For sure.
really amazing.
Hugely important.
Yeah, I am
to
in
keeping a
IT
business.
leadership. I work at a company that does commodities trading.
Yeah, the platform that you're supporting.
And right,
is,
so I am head of all of our trading technology.
Yeah, which is the revenue generating machine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
kind of important.
a little bit, yeah, a little bit important. Yeah, we have a couple platforms within that. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So amongst all of that, yeah, I think that's totally doable. And then hopefully, anytime we're actually flying with somebody, we can actually start logging those as hours too.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
I need to get a logbook.
I'm kind of like, I could just fly here without a license. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Cover your ears, FAA.
Yeah. Okay, maybe, well, I'm trying to decide if I build this ultralight. We do have an ultralight in the hangar.
Yes.
We have some hang glider options that don't require any license. But obviously, like...
I am not a fan of the ultralight idea, but yes.
I know, it's like my brother was saying, it's like, you're not an engineer, you can't build an airplane. And it's like, actually, there's like thousands of people every year building
No,
airplanes.
I'm fine. We can go get a kit. I'm fine with that. It's this specific ultralight that I'm just not there
Yeah, it is
with.
kind of old,
I'm not
but
there
I mean,
with.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But
But
I really need and want to keep hours up on the hang gliding. Fortunately, the hang gliding is actually probably the most convenient option. It's a 45-minute drive to a different airport. And one of my big goals this year is to fly home in a hang glider, which would require, I think, about a 50-mile flight with no engine. So finding lift, finding thermals, and the right wind day, and being able to navigate that and land here. I think
is that your 2025 hang gliding
to
goal?
hang glide and or paraglide
Okay,
and land here at the airport.
that's a good goal.
And then in October, find a way to get in the air to launch at the airport. So that's building the scooter tow thing.
Well, so October is when our annual fly-in
I'd
air
like to be able
show
to
is.
fly at our own fly-in
Yeah.
in a hang glider and or paraglider.
Yeah.
Scooter towing is like, it's...
So he bought a scooter.
Yeah, I bought an old Yamaha that actually has a story behind it. It was used in Hollywood as a stunt, tow to get hang gliders into the air.
Yeah.
And so this guy was done with it, and it was used in like Jurassic Park and all sorts of stuff. Like anytime you had like a hang glider flying through the air, they used this winch basically to pull it up. And so I'm rebuilding that and mounting it and trying to fix it up. But it's like the oldest method of like towing, really, other than like tying a string to a car. And these are bad ideas. Like this towing
Don't do this at home.
Yeah,
kids.
towing is like, things happen very fast. You're under a
Yeah.
lot of tension, like physical pressure, and definitely there's a lot of precautions in that you need to take.
Yeah.
Now, down at the airport that I do the hang gliding, I actually get towed up by essentially a powered hang glider, but it's an ultralight that pulls you up, and it's much safer, much more convenient. Like, you're always with somebody, a knowledgeable instructor, so that's a great option to keep pursuing. It's the paragliding. It's much harder to get off the ground, and towing seems a little bit more risky.
Yeah.
Paragliding for sure. So I'm tentative with
See
that
where
one.
it goes.
But I've been truck towing with the guys out here, a couple times last year and had the mountain flight in Reno the day after our wedding.
That's right.
Went up back to Lake Tahoe.
I went to work and you went.
Oh yeah, you had to work the next day, and I got up to like 13,000 feet and froze my ass off.
Yeah.
And stayed up for a couple hours, which was amazing. Yeah. So, and then Chattanooga has been a huge travel destination throughout the last year or two. I had to go there for photo shoots. So the other thing I haven't mentioned, I'm on year 11 signed now contract with Ultra as an athlete, which I think now
For running.
Yeah. And that's been just an awesome partnership for a long time now. They're sponsoring some of the races that we have, and yeah, obviously keep shoes on my feet, but it's fun to be involved with like the R&D side of things with shoes, especially because we've gone through this whole carbon fiber super shoe era. So I've been on like the front end of that for Ultra of testing, and fortunately I'm sample size, so I've gotten to see that from the ground up, or like from paper up basically. Yeah. So that's been a fun component that I just love doing as well. So big goals on that, and that's it's my job. I mean, I'm
so let's transition
athlete.
into running, right? So in the Houston community, we have Chevron Houston, our biggest race of the year. Yeah,
I have a ton of athletes running. I didn't even do the tally, but it's a lot. It's probably my biggest.
This Sunday.
Yeah.
And so, as a runner, maybe we stick with that theme. What are your goals this year? You're running Houston. What are you doing at Houston?
Yeah. So the last few times I've run it, I've been the fastest local. So Houston has like a local elite program. And so you automatically get an entry to the next year. And you're, as a local elite, you're kind of put into all of the same similar benefits. You're not really getting paid or hotels and stuff like that, but you get put in with all the elites. So you get to see behind the scenes of all of that stuff. So it's like a really fun week for me because I'm rubbing shoulders with like the best of the best. Like the people, the athletes, the friends that I've made like through these weeks, of roommates. So Jamil Yimmer is from Ethiopia. He was like the fastest half marathoner debut ever when he was like in his 20s. I think he ran like 58 minutes. His first ever half marathon.
Oh my gosh, that's so
or even 57.
unfathomable.
So under an hour for a half marathon for his first one, and I was his roommate when he came to Houston one year and ended up winning. And I roomed with, or at least I've gone to the Rockets games with the Robertson brother, Jake. So I was going to say his other brother, Zane, who's in a little bit of trouble right now for taking some illegal substances. But Jake's been a solid dude through and throughout, and trust him, and he's a cool dude. He's coming back. He's actually running the marathon. He usually does the half, and he's won here before. So getting to see Jamil come back, and getting to see Jake this weekend. But I was supposed to pace the winner from I guess now 2 years ago, 2023, was from Japan. She ran 2:19
in the marathon,
which is just over the time that I ran with Kira when we together broke the American record, which was like one of the coolest experiences ever, to pace Kira and become friends with her. And like we were messaging the other day, she's not coming to Houston, but we still keep in touch. But everyone now, she has the course record at Houston. So the women are like always like 2:19
trying to get it.
And so they're like, well, Cal can pace that. And so I was supposed to pace 2:19, but she's out with injury.
Paced that last year.
And I did that too. And I had like a whole slew of East African women like just leading a train and I ran 2:19s, which was my fastest ever. And it's just like for some reason and I'm going to talk about this more on Wednesday night because I have to give a talk to a pasta dinner. Carb loading session. I'm going to give a talk and really talk about the mentality of why pacing has like unlocked for me like my best performances. Just like technically it should be more pressure because I'm not running for just me, but like I'm holding the
But you know what?
pace for
I relate
others.
to that more than you know, right? Even though I'm nowhere in that realm, I put more pressure on myself than I let other people put pressure on me.
Yeah.
And so I can see how that mentality would be different and beneficial.
Yeah, but I mean, there's things that like there's money at hand here. Like,
well, yeah,
are you gonna get paid if you drop out? No.
Yeah.
Well, and there's like certain points, but that's where like some of the pressure might be relieved. Is like, oh, just get them to half at this time. But I know, like, and getting to half at a half marathon is like, that's the easy part.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's not when
that's
shit
not
hits
what
the
I'm,
fan.
right.
Yeah.
And like when I see, other pacers that, and now in the men's side, like you just can't have pacers. Pacers aren't allowed to jump in halfway.
Yeah.
You know, it's against the rules. So, you know, a man pacing another man has to be like pretty much equal. You know, get them to 40K or something. Pacers have won before, you know, they just have to stick in as long as they can. Whereas the women's, it's like, oh, get them to 30K and you can pull the plug or whatever.
Yeah.
But like anytime I've gotten there, that mentality is kicked in of just like, oh, like I'm not, like my job's done, and it's like, oh, I'll just go one more. They really need me right now. I'll just go one more, and that kind of like helping need kicks in for me, and like especially with Kira, it was like, oh, we're gonna hit the like tailwind now, and it was like boom, massive headwind. It was like, and I dropped back, and I was like, and I caught her because I was like, this is why she's paying me to be here today. And it was like, I put one more final surge in with like 5K to go that she should have just been running on her own. So there's that mentality that just works for me. Like 3 times now I've paced Sarah Hall, Kira D'Amato, and the Ethiopians last year.
But this year,
3 times in a row, PRs.
You were supposed to pace 219.
Yeah, and she's out. So now there's a world standard, the Tokyo World Athletics Championships, so the marathon's 2:23:30. So it's a little slower, but probably better because I really honestly don't, I'm not worried about Sunday, whatever happens.
But you're running Black Canyon.
I got 100K 3 weeks, 4 weeks yesterday.
3 weeks, I thought. I thought it was 2 weeks after
It's
Houston.
3 weeks after Houston. Okay. Yeah. So it's perfect timing for longest long run.
Yeah.
But most people for longest long run were like this weekend doing 50K on the trails with mountainous terrain.
And you're doing
I'm doing flat, fast, very fast marathon, 3 weeks to go, which is risky.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year was rough.
Yeah. But going from Houston to Black Canyon, which is what I did last year, I was not prepared in the same way that I needed to be.
Yeah.
But hopefully just backing off that pace a little bit, doing a little bit more trail specific stuff in the meantime. Being on the bike a lot is a huge help. Like I was on the bike for 25 miles today, 6 days to go to Houston. Not worried about my performance on Sunday, but I know I could still run really well there.
That's good. I know a lot of people running.
It's gonna be freezing. I don't know. Not happy about that. Although it's perfect for performance. Yeah. The wind's gonna be the worst part.
The wind, I mean, it's supposed to be 18 mile per hour headwinds at
from
one
the
point.
north, going up past like Galleria.
And that's when you hit 14-ish miles, 15 miles.
Yeah.
And you go north
you
for
really hit a bad
while.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have that Galleria wind tunnel as well.
Yeah. And then they always say, it's from the north, it'll be cross on Island Parkway, but coming home, and it's like you've been in the downtown. The buildings create these Venturi effects.
I mean, I run outside of downtown at least once a week, and it's just windy like crazy.
Everywhere. Yeah, it creates its own rivers and pathways and like Venturis of.
Yeah.
Probably need to learn Venturi for your pilot stuff.
Venturi.
Yeah. Like if you have 2 objects, like, the door for our garage, when you open that and there's like really no wind outside.
Oh, suck.
But there's like all of a sudden this like wind, like it's a really nice breeze for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When it's forced through there.
Yeah.
And paragliding, you have to be, and hang gliding, but paragliding, you have to be really careful because like 2 mountain features or something can create a Venturi effect, and you just can't penetrate into the wind. You get like blown back.
Fair enough.
Anyways, so the wind is going to be crazy for Houston.
Yeah, it'll be good.
See, I do like combine the flying and the running a little bit.
Yeah, I was impressed with that crossover real quick.
So one term I use with my athletes, giving away a little bit of my secret sauce here on coaching, is like when I'm coming up with their training or their race plan, I tell them a VNE.
What is VNE?
So anytime you're flying an aircraft, you should know what the VNE is. It's the velocity never exceed. And like that's where your wings can literally shake right off. Like you'll hit a point of.
I've heard you talk about velocity, but not that term specifically.
Definitely you're watching your airspeed to make sure, like in a sailplane, like my dad flies sailplanes now a lot, and like, the flutters will start happening, and you can literally blow your wings right off if you exceed VNE under certain things, and also just the stress that you put on the airplane. So the G meter of like how many G's you're pulling. So one guy I flew with the other day, Rob, We pulled 5.5
Oh my
Gs,
gosh.
and I thought my face was like coming off. And then we did -2, and I almost lost my curry pizza and Red Bull.
So he comes back and he's like sick, gonna throw up. And he blames it on the fact that he ate curry pizza
For sure.
right before, which, you know, is a factor. But I also think it's because you were just nauseous from the G's.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you build G tolerance.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, it's like an important part. Like early season, like we're starting spring coming up soon. It's like I haven't been flying at all. Like I have very little G tolerance. So like thermaling or doing acro or anything where you're like starting to load the body, like you can black out pretty easily, which is not a good thing when you're flying.
You don't have,
Which Rob told me a crazy story. We'll save that one for another time.
Yeah.
Anyways, V&E for race plan is like, look, I know you feel like $1 million at mile 1. You should feel like $1 million. Today is not the day you're gonna like break the world record, even though like it feels like you could. I always set a VNE, a pace to not exceed, kind of for each athlete, because given like their previous PRs, like there's just no way
there's some
you should
sense
be,
of realism here. Yeah.
Exactly. And like even for like, so like Black Canyon is a really interesting one because it's like downhill crazy. You're on trails and it's definitely like
But it can be technical there.
it's technical, but it's like very few races are positive split races, but for sure Black Canyon is. Like it's a get slower as you go thing, just because of the way the course runs. But at the end of the day, it's like, should you be running faster than like what you could do for 100K on the roads?
No.
No, like you're gonna burn out. So like I try to set those kind of like realistic like VNEs for athletes or myself. But anyways, my VNE for Sunday will be like 5:15 a mile.
Okay.
Probably in that range.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of hovering around my lactate threshold. So definitely don't want to be under like 1 hour race pace for a 2 hour race. But I can hover within 4 seconds of that,
Right.
which is crazy. And that's what you see from the top end, like the pros, they can hold so close to lactate threshold now
Yeah.
for so long. And you're not sure if you're running.
Yeah, I was gonna do a workout tomorrow and just kind of see how I felt, but it's
Like, yeah, your last 2 weeks, you've had like,
I mean, my last
just
4 weeks,
not been feeling well, basically.
just right. I mean, yeah, so I got pregnant and then I had a miscarriage all within the past 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's been really hard on my body, and my training just went to the wayside.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 week I was running amazing 3 miles, like, 2x3 miles, amazing. And I couldn't even hit 800s the next week.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It was surprising how much your body was changing so fast
I know.
within days.
Yeah.
Of both, of
truly,
everything.
Within
like,
days of everything, yeah.
But like, yeah, your heart rate was the first thing to just go.
Yes. My heart rate went in sleep. My sleep was first, and then it was my
sleep
heart rate.
and heart rate. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. So it's been, the miscarriage was just last week. And
Yeah.
I think my body's starting to even out a little bit. But my mind is not evened out.
Yeah, it was hard.
It was hard.
And
It's hard.
And
it
the
is hard.
confusing part for the relationship too, because like you're feeling everything and like the man's like not.
You're feeling nothing.
Well, I mean,
not nothing.
It's not
but
as real.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely some points of like, having to face it that made it more real for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like buying you size 9 pads.
So I asked him, can you get me some women's pads? I'm bleeding. And he goes and I send him like, their sizes, men.
I didn't catch the size thing.
I sent him 2 pictures of like.
Yeah, I was like, okay, brand.
2 options, and it had.
And flow.
Like, brand, absorbency, sizing, and he gets me like 2 foot, 1 inch thick.
Hey, get the job done.
Like, belly button to back, like. It's been. I don't think that even if I crush tomorrow's workout, I just don't think I'm mentally there to run it. So what I want to do is I had a big recovery week last week. I mean, there were days I was in so much pain I couldn't even run last week. And then I started feeling back to normal on Saturday, Sunday. So I had some good days Saturday, Sunday. And my run today was super easy, super low heart rate. So my body's starting to calm down.
Yeah.
I just want to, slowly ease back into workouts and see if I can get ready for Woodlands half and go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it was a hard
hard few weeks, and that's why I'm not.
But you're back running, and
yeah,
like you ran 17 on the weekend, and it's more than I ran.
That's true. I ran 17 and it felt great.
Like you could just go
calm.
run. You're in the half. So
I am in the half. I could go run, but
yeah.
I'd rather do my long run on Saturday and just, while you're still watching the kids and things like that on Saturday morning, and then I'll hang out with the kids and take them. What?
I'm watching the kids Saturday morning.
Yeah. Surprise. I mean, I didn't have anything.
Oh, I'm downtown at the marathon.
Saturday morning?
All week.
We need to figure that out then. Anyway.
Surprise.
Yeah, I need to get a run in at some point. So, anyway. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to go. If I can't, I was so excited to PR. I felt so good about my fitness, and now I just don't want to go run to run.
Yeah.
I enjoy the training. I don't enjoy the racing. I don't want to just.
Yeah, you're not going for a PR or anything.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
this point, so that's fine.
So.
Yeah, but you have a few races that you'll do this spring, starting with the Woodlands.
Well, I only have the Woodlands right now, so.
And my backup is Canyons, 100K, which elevation on that looks insane. But I found a good spot not far from here that can actually travel and get some hills in.
Yeah, I think my goal this year, I mean, hopefully I can make Woodlands happen. And, obviously we're working on some family plans. So
yeah.
I just want to be.
Don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to be healthy and enjoy the running journey and just be around. Yeah. So that's my goal.
No, I think it's a good place to kind of wrap up. So this week is just like all consuming with the Houston Marathon really. And I have to give a talk on Wednesday night, and then I'm at the expo a lot. We have like athlete meetings, and I have the elite athlete meeting, and then I'll find out more like what my pacing duties are. And I have to do like things like my uniform has to be inspected, like the logo of Ultra can't really be much bigger than that for racing. And my shoes, they don't so much look at the shoes anymore. Although there's a couple of shoes now on the market that are illegal to run in.
Do you even know what shoes you're going to wear?
Yeah, the Vanish Carbon 2. Like that's a no doubt. I just always like to kind of like
well, that's my point. Is like, do you have some ready like today? He's always doing surgery on his shoes.
Make them perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the ones I won the Marine Corps Marathon or 50K.
Okay.
And I'm ready to go pretty much.
All right. Cool.
And then I just got confirmation that I'll be on ABC 13 on Sunday night.
Okay,
so I have to go to the studio.
And take the girls.
7 to 9. Yeah, I'll have to let them know.
And it's a holiday on Monday, so it's perfect.
Yeah, so holiday Monday, and then we'll record again. So I think the plan, are we shooting for Mondays?
Monday nights recording.
Monday nights, get it out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And minimal amount of editing. And we'll get it out on YouTube as a video, Spotify as a video. Did I just see a thumbs up?
Oh, it's been doing that multiple times,
Apple.
Yeah.
No, then you can't make it work. Anyways,
it doesn't do it on command. It only makes
like
those.
when you don't want it. Throw the emojis up.
Yeah.
And then Spotify. Just got to figure out all these things. And,
we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. But I guess if people have questions, I was thinking like Instagram DMs probably the best.
Yeah.
But like if you're a woman, DM Rachel. If you're a man, DM me. I just think we got the most wild.
All right. So we talked a little bit about 2025 goals.
Yeah.
New Year's morning day, 2025. And this woman messages Cal And
Yeah.
you have not spoken to her in, I mean, well over 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had what, one college class with her?
One college class.
That was it.
And like during that time would be training because I was on the cross country track team at UH. We'd be at Memorial Park and she ran like hobby jogger. So like sometimes would see me. So that was it for connection. Never went out, never hung out,
nothing.
No friendship then. Had like a few messages in the history that were like reconnecting, like, hey, what are you doing these days? You know?
But the last one was
it was like over a
2011.
decade. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Like, yeah, really long time ago. And like out of the blue, waking up January 1, out of the gate. What happened to your first wife, the mother of 3 children?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was like, huh. I kind of just like put it aside.
Yeah.
I was like, not going to respond to that. Like, that's just weird. None of her business. Like,
yeah.
And then
life happens, right? Life happens.
Yeah. And then the next one was you and
Rachel, in quotes.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, I'm real last time I checked.
You're a bot.
Yeah.
Are disgusting. Like your
Like
Mormon
polygamous. Yeah.
That was it. And then block. Like I couldn't even respond to that.
Immediate block. We couldn't see her profile. We could see her tiny little profile picture.
That was it.
That was it.
Gone.
Happy New Year.
So, yeah, I think people like, I've been following like Allie on the Run, who I've done some great shows with, and some of other friends that are like pretty high, you know, profiles in the community.
Yeah.
And people we all have the same story. It's like people feel like they can just like, and we're really opening up the curtain here, like what you've shared and what we've shared.
And I'm a very open person.
We're being open.
Right? In general, I'm way more open than you,
but like
I think,
to
naturally.
come at someone in their DMs of just like asking like very private information.
But that's not asking.
No.
Right?
Or just wanting to know. And I've heard similar stories like consistently, no matter who I talk to, that has, you know, kind of opened the gate a little bit. So I want people to be a little bit sensitive towards.
I think we ask for that sensitivity. I think at the end of the day, we're very open to other people's thoughts and questions and experiences.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say just like, oh, women don't send messages because
don't slide into my DMs.
Right, we don't have a relationship that can handle it. Like obviously, like we're very like, and yeah, like we're fine.
No, it happens. It's fine. Yeah. You know,
like we're transparent and.
Right. Men, you DM him, I'm going to know about it. Right. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But
I think that's a good place to start. Of just like, if you want to ask some questions, that's the way we begin with.
Just be respectful.
And be respectful.
You know,
to everybody, not just us.
No, not just us.
I think this message out there for the year.
I think something that I do, and I know that I don't know if it drives you crazy, but like I talk to people in public, like random people. I used to travel full time for work, and I would talk to like. And
like within 2 minutes, you're like deep into like something about life, or like you'll share like very personal, intimate details of something, and it's just like.
And he's like, "Whoa,
what are you doing?"
But to me, I thrive in something I love about life is that we all walk these different paths, and I think we learn from each other on that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we would love to hear from anybody.
Yeah. On top of that, what else was I going to say for the episodes? Well, that DM alone opens up like a whole segment that I want to do of, I'm going to call it race director emails, but it could technically be like coaching emails, race directing emails, DMs, like kind of like mean tweet style, reading your own messages.
Yeah,
and we'll keep it anonymous, but like some of the messages, like that one I shared that I get on like the business front, are just like outrageous. Just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll go through them. I'm saving them. Don't start creating them just for that to get on the show.
You're just gonna get
I have enough
bizarre. Yeah.
I have enough bizarre messages as it is. But it's just like, it's people not being respectful and thinking like there's another human on the other end of this line receiving this. And it's just wild to me that we can treat each other in those types of ways.
We shouldn't treat each other that way. We're all respectful and kind here. Yeah.
But I think this year is a great year for karma.
That's what I keep saying. This year is the year of karma. one for karma and two for Taylor Swift's lost album Karma.
That's what I meant. Obviously.
Obviously, yeah. So the year of karma for whichever karma you need.
Yeah. So hopefully we're off to a good start here, and it's somewhat enjoyable. And I have to say, like, there definitely was some motivation from the Roaches, which you got to meet David and Megan Roach at Western States at Forest Hill when we were there with their kid, and they just had another kid. So they have a really cool podcast as well as a couple sharing, and it's kind of become their like date night, and I'm excited for that as well. And
another 2025 goal I said was I wanted to do a life dinner once a month.
Ooh,
I know.
it's getting close to the end of January.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we can be a little bit different in this space of podcasting, and
we have a variety of things to talk about.
People,
there were things on the list we didn't even get to, and we're at time, right? So
yeah, give people something to listen to on those long commutes and things.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it.
That's a wrap.
Okay.
Talk soon.